On November the 10th of 1994, a Claremont County resident recorded several minutes of home video footage showing an object comprised of 4 headlights in a triangular arrangement.
Ooh, boy, you're bright now.
The soundless object seems to demonstrate a rolling motion that would appear to place a conventional aircraft in an upside-down inverted pitch at the conclusion of the maneuver. The videotape and the claim was thoroughly investigated, and others in the same area also told of similar occurrences in the weeks before and after the recording was made.
Ooh, boy, you're bright now.
The mysterious object was picked up on the home video camera after witnesses described hearing explosive sounds.
I was in bed, sound asleep, and all of a sudden I heard some booming sounds. And I got up and I came out and asked my son what all the noise was. He said, "Mom, I don't know." So I opened up the door to look outside and there were so many intense lights that it was something. So I started yelling, "Oh my God, where's my camera?" I videotaped the lights going across and over top of the field across the street. They were just on the other side of the dumpster here. They were very low. Some of them were coming in one direction and would stop and go back in the opposite direction. Some of them would stop in midair, and there would be like 2 of them at a time over top of each other, and they would both separate and go in opposite directions.
This is the video Barb recorded on November the 10th, 1994.
Ooh, boy, you're bright now.
Barb also recorded videotape of an actual airplane traveling overhead. Comparing this video with the one of the object that Barb says is weird gives us the impression that the aircraft engine noise from the plane can be heard very clearly, and the unidentified object seems to make no sound at all.
Ooh, boy, you're bright now.
November 10th was a strange night in Owensville. Along with Barb and her videotape, there were quite a few others who told of eerie glowing lights that zipped about on that rainy night. Some did not want to appear on camera. One resident, Larry Moore, says he does not know Barb and has no knowledge of her videotape, but he saw something that he could not identify.
Okay, what I seen was a light coming through the trees, and it was coming at a pretty rapid speed, between 50 and 60 miles an hour. And the light was unusual to be as low as it was. And it was kind of eerie looking, you know, just seeing it like that. But you know, it wasn't a plane that low or something that low like that. It's something I've never seen before. But when it came so fast like that, it just suddenly stopped. And it was about like 30 foot up above the trees. And it was just a big bright light, like it had some kind of a glow to it. But I couldn't figure out what it was.
As I was standing there watching the lights, all of a sudden I noticed that there was a sheriff right there in the front of my house.
Yeah, there was sheriff. Oh boy, he's speeding up now. Just see, you saw it right here. Listen to him. I bet somebody called.
There was a very intense light on the other, behind the dumpster. The sheriff must have noticed it because at that time he sped up very noticeably in his car. I followed him as far as I could with the video camera over to the church where he sat and watched the lights also.
There goes the sheriff. After sitting here for a few minutes. And here he's facing one. How about that? Got sheriff sitting right under one.
And they sit there. They're having like a stare down face off for a couple minutes. And the light is just sitting motionlessly up in the sky. There's no sound. Then all of a sudden the light pulls to the right. The sheriff's taillights change again. And he pulls up and pulls to the right as if he's following it.
You badger. How about you dirty pants after running around the mice?
What happened that night?
Yeah.
An attempt was made to locate the officer who was on the video.
Sheriff's gonna follow him. Yep. Ooh, there he goes, chasing him.
But our efforts were futile. We spoke with Lieutenant Wilson of the Claremont County Sheriff's Department, who said he checked into it, and he told us that he had no information and no reports were made. Lights in the night sky don't impress me, he said, and that our job is protecting people. As long as one of these bad boys don't hurt anyone, it's not our concern. When asked to make an on-camera comment about the videotape, Claremont County Sheriff John Van Camp abruptly stepped in and curtly said, "Go find someplace else to film." The Owensville recording was taken to Associates for Scientific Knowledge investigator and computer specialist Dale Farmer for comprehensive examination.
Right now, I kind of think it's probably man-made. Probably some kind of experimental aircraft that the Air Force or Navy is experimenting with.
Most notable through computer enhancement is the appearance of a structured surface behind the large aircraft headlights. Extensive computer analysis has detailed a possible triangular outline of what may be a solid structure connecting the lights. Further complicating the circumstances surrounding the Claremont County recording, another videotape of a similar object was recorded several months later near Marysville, Ohio. This video recording was made by a news crew from a Columbus, Ohio television station while producing a story on UFO sightings in that area. Like the Claremont County recording, this videotape, shot by the staff of a Columbus, Ohio news station, also shows an object comprised of big, bright headlights in a triangular shape. Unknown triangular-shaped objects have been reported in all parts of the world. This object, similar in appearance to the Claremont County recording, was photographed over Belgium. This videotape was taken in 1981 over the Soviet Union. Compare the similarities. Are these secretive military aircrafts? And if so, why are they parading about residential areas, performing odd maneuvers, and shining brilliant headlight beams for all to see? On October 19, 1994, a motorist traveling on westbound I-275 reported to the Forest Park Police Department that an unidentified flying object appeared near the Forest Fair Mall. According to the police report, the driver claims to have experienced a paralysis influence from a brilliant beam of light radiating from the unknown aircraft. Within a matter of days, a mushroom-shaped object was reported hanging in the air in that same vicinity, approaching the Kemper and Pippin Road intersections. And just weeks later, WLWT Channel 5 News reported on a strange event close to the Interstate I-74 and 275 interchanges, presumed by witnesses to be a falling plane on fire before disappearing in a brilliant flash of light. In late October and early November of 1994, we spoke with several residents in Owensville, Ohio, all of whom allegedly observed UFOs floating around Zebulon Park, an apartment complex near U.S. Route 50.
When it came so fast like that, he just suddenly stopped, and it was about like 30 foot up above the trees. And it was just a big bright light, like it had some kind of a glow to it. But I couldn't figure out what it was.
On November 10th, 1994, a resident in the apartment complex recorded several minutes of home video footage depicting unusual-looking lights that seemed to materialize during a rainstorm.
Boy, you frightened me.
The glowing lights on the recording appears to have been observed by an on-duty patrol officer operating with the Claremont County Sheriff's Department.
And here he's facing one. How about that? Got sheriff sitting right under one.
A prearranged agreement was made with the authorities at the Claremont County Sheriff's Department, who were asked for their comment on the recording. After the administrators viewed the material at their request, the official comment provided by the department was, "Go find someplace else to film." The videotape was offered the next morning to a pair of local news channels, WLWT Channel 5 and WKRC Channel 12, but the response was one of indifference, disinterest, and flat-out rejection of the video without either news service ever examining its content. In March of 1995, 2 separate reports from independent witnesses were made during a 2-week period in which the alarmed individuals reported seeing a black globular object that shadowed and stalked passenger airliners as they approached Cincinnati airports. Investigations were still continuing into the bullet-shaped object seen over Mariemont that was described as sounding like a street sweeper which caused houses to vibrate violently. On April 14, 1995, an event took place in the Mariemont area that was reported to the police. The audio recording of the call that you are about to hear was obtained from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department Dispatch and Communications Center. The identity of the caller has been withheld for privacy purposes.
Police Dispatcher Skinner. Yes, I was on my way down Plainville to Mariemont. And, let's see, God, I can't think of the name of the street it is now. I know it's Plainville, but I've seen something I know I shouldn't have seen. Okay. It's right off of Plainville, because I'm trying to get a hold of military base. I know it sounds stupid and ridiculous, but I know we ain't got no aircraft that are square. But it's down Plainville somewhere, I don't know. I circled it about 4 or 5, Cambridge. I went around 4 or 5 times. I don't know if some little Cuba, some little helicopter toy or something. But it's not right, because I've been trying to get a hold of a military base all night tonight. How long ago was it that you saw it? About 20 minutes ago. So I don't know if it's just a bunch of people out there goofing off with something square. But I know we ain't got no aircrafts that are, so I'm 22 years old, by the way. I know we ain't got no aircrafts that are square with green and orange lights. It sounds stupid and ridiculous, but...
Where was it sitting at? Right on the side of the road, or?
Well, 5 lights up in the air. All of a sudden, I looked up and saw it. And stopped, started dropping straight down.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's somebody, like I said, somebody playing a practical joke or something.
Yes. About how big was it, do you think?
How big was it?
Yeah.
About the size of a Toyota Corolla.
One interesting aspect of this case, which tends to lend credibility to it, is the fact that the witnesses took the time to report what they allegedly saw to the police. Most hoaxers wouldn't do that.
Associates for Scientific Knowledge investigator Charles Stewart began investigations into the case immediately upon receiving the information, and an attempt was made to obtain more documentation of the alleged event.
Through a thorough investigation, we were able to track down the witnesses, and they took us to the site.
The witnesses, both of them, seem real credible to me. Everything they had told us from beginning to end, there was no inconsistencies in anything they told us. I'd say they're very credible witnesses, and as a matter of fact, neither one of them wanted any publicity for what they had seen.
The caller was willing to give investigators a detailed account of the declared occurrence, and contended that the UFO first appeared about 3 stories in the air before suddenly dropping to an elevation nearly 10 feet from the ground.
According to the witnesses, the object which they saw was hovering at treetop level and illuminating the roof of a house and a tree.
Well, we were thinking that if this thing was really as close to the house as it was reported, that someone in the house may have heard something or saw a flash of light, or maybe a neighbor had come up and asked them some questions about something the night before, so we thought we'd ask around a little bit in the neighborhood, and we got some interesting responses.
Investigators spoke with a resident from nearby Madisonville, residing just blocks away from the sighting, who claims to have observed something suspended low over railroad tracks in the neighborhood.
First I thought it was like a boxcar at the end of a train. It's hard to say because when you're not expecting anything that late at night, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if it was pulsating or if it was just by being dark and the lights were just blinking. I don't know. And it was sitting over 2 tracks that was right down there about 50, 75 yards down. It was triangular light.
Moorhead sits nestled among the foothills and tall pines of eastern Kentucky. The lifestyle is relaxed, and the hustle and bustle of a big city is many miles away. But for a few hours on November 21st, 2003, that peaceful tranquility would be replaced by confusion and fear. A strange event would grip this Kentucky town. A University of Kentucky psychologist, along with his 2 sons, were driving home near Adams Lane. What is that? They saw a bright light in the northwestern sky. The soundless aerial object hovered over a nearby open field, and a sense of apprehension was upon the professor and his sons.
What is that?
This gentleman lives way up on a hill, very wooded, very isolated, and I could see where there would be few witnesses to this. I believe, and this is just my belief, I believe that the witnesses that we interviewed in this particular case are all credible.
The UK professor and his sons ran indoors, with some concern, making their way to the second-story window where they continued to watch this object.
Of course, Kenny Young made the first contact with the first witness, and I kept digging until I found a second witness who lived right down the road. And the second witness described something very similar. She said her and her daughter were out putting up Christmas tree lights, and she said they turned around and they saw this object, and it was popping up and going down. She said it was a light, and she said it reminded her of popcorn, going up and coming down. Her daughter became very frightened, and she told her to go in the house. This object came down. It turned several colors from orange to red, and as it touched the ground, this is when the dog went wild and started barking like crazy.
As the object seemed to touch down near Adams Lane, animals in the neighborhood erupted into a mad frenzy. Suddenly, the object shot off like a dart and disappeared into the western skies. Immediately after the object departed, blood-curdling screams could be heard in the night.
Oh God, please, somebody help me! Help me! Oh God, somebody please help me! Help me! Oh God, please, somebody help me!
One person on nearby Skaggs Road heard the screams and called the police.
Moorhead 911.
Yeah, I live at 472 Skaggs Road, and there's a big giant field back behind my house, and I could swear I heard somebody screaming back there.
Okay.
And it sounded like they were struggling, and it was backed up the hill, like if you're looking at the hill off of Skaggs Road, it was back up to the left.
So, okay, you're at 472 Skaggs Road. If they're standing in front of your residence, where is it at?
They're standing in front looking at my house. Back up to the left. Adams Road, yeah. Adams Road's right there, too. It sounded like it was coming up there from there off Adams Road.
You think it's like in the area of Adams Road?
Yeah.
And it sounds like a female struggling?
I swear it sounded. My dog started barking. I walked outside. I got my spotlight out, and I couldn't see anybody in the field.
Soon afterwards, the field where the screams emanated was crawling with police, fire and rescue searchers.
We got a direct call in, advised female subject screaming for help.
Thermal imaging was used to try to locate the woman, but nothing was found, and the search was called off.
He said that it sounded like the most horrifying, blood-curdling scream that he had ever heard. It sounded like somebody was being ripped apart, just totally ripped apart. There has to be some connection. You know, over the years, there's been people talked about abductions and being abducted, and of course I've read about things in books, but I never experienced it firsthand as far as being able to talk to somebody who actually heard this. And I would say yes. It's not common. It's not a very common thing. You don't hear these type of reports of somebody screaming blood-curdling screams and a UFO being spotted at the exact same time. It sounds like somebody was hurt. So, you know, I think about it often. I think about, is that lady, is she alive? Is she in Moorhead? Is she from somewhere else? Is she still around? Does she remember what happened later? And she's saying, you know, what happened to me, and can I tell anybody?
The Moorhead, Kentucky case will remain a curious and puzzling episode without firm resolution. An unidentified flying object was observed, and from the same location in the field, desperate and blood-curdling screams were heard in the night. A police search yielded no answers. Lives have been affected, and disturbing questions have been raised. We have no real answers to the strange events in Moorhead, Kentucky, in November of 2003.
On February the 2nd, 2002, an anonymous witness from Maysville, Kentucky, filed an online UFO report complaining of a strange aircraft seen over the Ohio River between the power plants. Investigation of that claim revealed that a security guard at one of the plants along the river had simultaneously noted the sighting of an unusual aircraft in his logbook. Despite this strong authentication of the sighting report, local Maysville, Kentucky news media expressed no interest in further exploring this subject. In the following months, a number of similar reports began to surface from the Ohio River city of Portsmouth. One resident claiming that he would sight an unusual object in the late-night hours as it hovered in the vicinity of the bridges. And on May the 1st, 2003, a UFO was seen near Ashland, Kentucky. The black triangular object, the size of a small car, allegedly flew near the Route 60 bridge. On May the 3rd in Flemingsburg, Kentucky, a crop circle appeared in a rye field along T-Run Road.
New tonight in more local news, independent investigators descend on a tri-state rye field after hearing about crop circles. This is a picture taken by the editor of the Fleming.
According to the initial witnesses, including Fleming County Sheriff Jerry Wagner, the donut-shaped formation was a perfect circle 50 yards in diameter. On June the 2nd, a resident of Westchester, Ohio, reported a dramatic UFO sighting near his residence that was accompanied by a local power failure. The witness, awakened around 2:30 a.m. by the beeping sound of a battery backup to his computer, detected the smell of ozone and went to his window to see an odd object in the sky. The disc-shaped object was compared to the size of a bus, with bright lights spinning very fast. The lights spun so fast they almost appeared to strobe or pulsate. On June the 6th at 2:30 a.m. in Monroe, Ohio, a Butler County resident observed an unusual bulb-shaped UFO at 1,000-foot elevation, traveling from a south to northwest direction. At the moment the object was directly overhead, the witness claims he lost satellite reception and the lights in his house dimmed. And at 11 p.m. on August the 22nd at Hillsboro, Ohio, an enormous object was seen in the eastern sky. Cincinnati UFO investigator Donnie Blessing was told that multiple witnesses observed a circular object that had rotating sets of white lights around the center.
The object was described as a huge, enormous UFO. It was dark so they could see the silhouette of it. It was compared to if you took two school buses and put them side by side.
2 days later in nearby Locust Grove, Ohio, a crop circle was discovered in a soybean field across from the legendary Serpent Mound Indian burial grounds.
It's artistic geometry on a canvas of soybeans, 300 foot in diameter, but perhaps more impressive?
It's real big news. It's fascinating.
The number of people coming to see it. This woman works at Serpent Mound, just across the street from the crop circle.
Somebody came in yesterday and said, "Where's the crop circle? Where's the crop circle?" And it's right across the street. Go to your right, you'll see it.
Even longtime residents like Mildred Jameson.
We've been around here for about 50-some years.
Can't remember anything quite like this.
Douglas said, I better be watching things out here.
Following separate reports of UFOs sighted in Bethel, Ohio, and objects videotaped from Bainbridge, Akron, and Canton, residents in Proctorville and Chesapeake, Ohio, complained of mysterious flashing lights chasing each other on Sunday and Monday nights, August the 31st and September the 1st. The Lawrence County Sheriff's Department received phone calls inquiring about the lights, as did television stations WOWK and WSAZ. Meanwhile, a spectacular crop formation was discovered near the Seat Mound Indian burial ground in Ross County, Ohio.
They're here.
They are. You know, when I first heard about this, I didn't know what to think, but you told me the secret.
Well, I mean, yeah, they
secret.
Well, I guess there is a little secret to it. I mean, they put down these boards and kind of compress the crops.
Ohio UFO sightings continued on September the 13th, 2003. When an Adams County resident reported a tremendous object seen near Belfast. A total of 4 witnesses spoke of a triangular-shaped formation of lights on one large object. The lights reportedly flashed in the sequence and would simultaneously alternate in color from pinkish red, blue, white to yellow. The triangular arrangement of the lights were comprised of 4 or 5 lights, with the peak of the triangle facing downward at the bottom. On Monday evening, September the 22nd, around 7:30 p.m., a massive UFO was sighted in Franklin County, Ohio. A motorist traveling on Beaver Brook Road observed a colossal disc-shaped object floating silently overhead. The witness, interviewed at length by the National Institute for Discovery Science and MUFON investigators, said the monstrous object seen near Gahanna, Ohio, was floating silently over the treetops. On September the 23rd, Mason County, Kentucky schoolteacher Martha Franklin and her husband Michael captured strange images on a deer surveillance camera mounted in the woodland on their property in Ellsbury, Ohio. The photographs published in the Adams County People's Defender newspaper seemed to challenge the rational explanation. The camera, used to photograph wildlife, can be triggered by motion or heat source, and documented several photographs, one showing a saucer-shaped light source above the tree line. And at 10:30 p.m. on September the 24th, a resident of Franklin, Ohio, contacted Wright-Patterson Air Force Base to report a remarkable UFO seen in the sky near her Butler County home. A medical assistant. She and her 3 children spotted a strange pattern of huge green flashing lights when approaching her residence in the Heartland subdivision. On Wednesday, October the 15th, Mr. Stuart Linder of Hamilton, Ohio, spotted an object that was hovering over Hamilton High School in Hamilton, Ohio. The UFO, described as multicolored, upside-down diamond, rotated in place, emanating a glow for about 10 minutes before speeding away to the west.
We can't speculate on what's going on, but there has been an upsurge in reports of UFOs and crop circles. We just take the reports as they come in, and we don't make any speculation on what's going on.
Will the challenge of UFO investigation reveal evidence of UFO visitation? In light of the undeniable upsurge of local sightings, we are compelled to wonder, what or who are these visitors to our skies? Perhaps only time will tell.
Center of Police.
Yeah, this is a non-emergency call.
Okay.
I'm over on South the Road, and we probably had other people call you, but I just want to make sure. Our electricity keeps flickering, and when I keep seeing out the window the skylight up and something loud, like a transformer humming. Have you been made aware of that?
No, nobody's called on that. Okay. Is it behind your residence that you're seeing this, or?
Actually, it lights up the entire sky.
Okay.
And it is not anywhere where I can see it. So
okay. I'm sorry. Let me get this 911 call, sir. Just a moment. 911, police, fire, medical.
Yes, my name's Dennis Lewis, 174 Linden Drive, Centerville.
Yes.
We're getting loud or large electrical flashes off the power supply system behind our house.
Okay, can you see? I just have, on the other line, I have someone from Bethel Road. Bethel, and he's seeing the same thing. Is your electricity flickering?
Yes, it comes on and off, and we're getting like a huge flash, and it's done it about 4 times.
A flash? Where, outside?
Yes, outside. The lights just all came back on again.
Okay. I mean, is it from your backyard? Do you think it's immediately in your street line?
We think it's immediately close. I was trying to call BPNL, but theirs is a huge computerized, no-person phone line.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see it actually arc. We just see a huge flash.
Okay, we're going to send someone out. Okay, sir?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Goodbye. My other call was about the same thing. He lived on Linden Drive, and he is seeing flashing maybe by his tree line. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, I have another 911 call.
Okay,
what's your address on Bethel?
105.
105. Thank you, sir. Bye. 911, police, fire, medical.
Has the whole street called?
No, sir. What is this about? Okay.
The whole street. The electricity is going on and off, and there's really...
What is your address? I'm getting more phone calls on this.
Okay, 166 Lakeview.
Okay. All right.
Holy crap. There's something in the sky.
All right. Okay, just one moment, sir. 911.
Yes, my name is John McKeith, and I'm calling from Stone Lake Drive.
Okay. All right. About flashing?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to check this out, sir.
Okay, we're not the first to call then.
No, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Goodbye. 911, Centerville, please.
Yes, do you happen to know what's going on in our neighborhood?
No, we're having an officer in the area. What is your address?
157 Brad Street. I tried to call DPNL, but it's automated.
Okay. Do you see exactly where it's coming from?
Well, if I look out my kitchen window, looking up towards the
is that
school...
I'm sorry, what school?
Stingley, and it looks, the sky just lit up pink.
Okay. All right, towards Stingley.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Oh, my God.
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've had about 10 calls since then.
What did they say?
Everybody's just saying the same thing. The last person is on Brad Street, and she's saying it's more towards Stingley.
I saw it.
Okay.
We both, my wife and I both saw it. It was right outside our window.
Right, okay. And your address again, sir?
166 Lakeview.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I've got about 10 streets
Are they
here.
saying it's the same thing
Yes,
that I'm
yes,
saying it is?
yes.
It looked like a freaking alien ship.
Right, yes.
And it blew up like it was like a bomb going off.
Okay, was it pink?
It was
Or
white.
Lady said it was pink.
No, it was going to the power lines, but it hovered in. It came. I sound like I'm insane right now. I can't believe I'm saying this. It hovered down over the school, and it was spinning lights and flashing.
Okay.
It came down all the way to, like, over the school towards my house.
Okay.
And then it would just go
All right.
boom, and all the electricity would go off in this giant flame ball in the sky.
Okay. All right. I need to get going and let the officers know. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.